Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This business is owned and operated by Steve Akley and Jim Fosnot. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution list. That way you'll know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and what barrel picks they have in the works. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, I connect with an old college classmate who went on to do big things in the world of boxing, Mr. Arthur Johnson. My name is Steve Akley. Please join me in welcoming my special guest, Arthur Johnson. Hey, Arthur, how you doing, man?
Hey, I am good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good as well. So appreciate you coming on. Kind of an interesting request for you for sure to come on to a bourbon show. Because I know, and just speaking with you before the show, you don't drink bourbon, right? That's not your thing.
No.
No, but it's the show that I've got, so it can't be like, well, Arthur, you can come on my boxing show or something like that. I don't have one, but I do have this bourbon show, so we won't talk bourbon today. We don't have to talk that every day, so that's certainly okay. And you and I both went to the same college, at least. I don't know about your whole college career. I know just that we had one class together, and I got to know you. And again, it's not like we're best friends. We stayed in touch through the years. I only knew you in that one class, but I certainly kept track of your career after that. This is kind of an interesting story, how a small moment in time can impact you to follow someone along in their career and for years and years. And again, there was nothing for you to follow for me, but not that you would have known me and you met a lot of people. I'm sure you were pretty popular based on what you were doing in the world of boxing, but that's our history there. So you did go to, Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, and that's where we had our connection, which is pretty cool, right?
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of fun memories about that. I definitely have a lot of fun memories about, meeting a bunch of nice people, and such as yourself years later as how it comes back. So I'm a full circle, if you will. That was a fun time in my young life for sure.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about, where you grew up and that type of thing.
Well, I grew up in the city of East St. Louis. I can remember the first place that I lived was on Missouri Avenue. And from there, my family moved to a project apartment called the Turnkeys back in the day. But if you go back and look in that area now, there's nothing there. Everything's been torn down. And then from there, we lived in a house for a little while before moving to the projects, John Robinson projects, which still is in existence, by the way. There's a few of them still up, and also John D. Shields, which is right across the street. And now the big thing about that is that the Lincoln High School was right in the middle of the two apartment complexes called the John Robinsons and the John D. Shields. So that's where I grew up for the most part, most of my young life. And that's where a lot of interesting things, happen as you grow up as a kid, and you meet a lot of people along the way, and a lot of, childhood friends and things of that nature. I met them right there in that neck of the woods, if you will.
Yeah. So, and ultimately, what leads you to get into boxing? Well, how did you get started in this sport?
Oh man, I've always, I think that it was a personal calling. I really do, a personal calling. When I say personal calling, we're all born to do something. And I think my knack, without question, was boxing, because the first time maybe I saw boxing was an Ali Frazier thing. Maybe I'm just kind of reflecting back on what I recall, and that would be the Leon Spinks Ali fight.
Yeah.
Those things, looking at that, and you really kind of developing a knack for it. There were times when, as a kid, I would put the aluminum foil in my mouth and pretend it was a mouthpiece in shadow box. So that whole ideal about boxing came to fruition when a couple of gentlemen, one by the name of James Hooks, the other by the name of Benjamin Stiff, they opened up a boxing facility or a boxing gym that was right in the apartment complex there in the Johnny Shields part. And that's where a lot of us kids came. A lot of us got introduced to it. Oh man, there were gangs of us, and out of the whole bunch of us kids that was there, and there must have been, I don't know, maybe as far as my eyes could see, in terms of number of kids being there. But at the end of the day, it was only about four of us that stuck with it. And then, of course, me kind of sticking with it the longest out of all of us. And, it really kind of created this whole idea for me of wanting to, someday, compete on an Olympic team or become national champion. And those were things accomplished. Yeah.
So were you a natural? I mean, is it because obviously it's something that you like before you were, doing it even as an amateur, as a kid, you something that you liked, you watched on TV, you were practicing it by yourself before you were in any sort of gym situation. Then when you started getting into it, was it everything that you'd hoped for? And like I said, were you just kind of a natural at it?
Well, I wouldn't say I was so much of a natural, although some people may say I made it look easy throughout my career, but I just think that was the idea of making it look easy was, once I got into it, dedicating myself to it and putting in the work and things of that nature. So I could think of so many other guys who were much more of a natural than I was. And for me, I just think I put in the hard work, and I was blessed to have a skill set as I learned it, and just dedicated myself to this boxing deal, and my development, came along with it. And so it was just a great opportunity that these gentlemen presented to me, and I was able to meet the right people along the way, because you have to connect with the right people, I think, that are supposed to play a part in your success story. And so I was able to, thank God, I was able to do that.
Yeah. Well, that sets us up to learn a little bit about how things went for you in, a boxing career. So what we'll do next, we'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to run through your amateur career, your Olympic career, your professional career, and what you're doing now, how boxing still impacts you today. We'll get to that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only sells single barrels. Owners Steve Akley and Jim Fosnot select. With over 100 distilleries on board to sell us barrels, we are home to the most unique and diverse barrel pick selections in the bourbon world. By signing up for our email, you will always know what we have in stock. In addition to the single barrels, we'll have a gift shop featuring ABV Barrel Shop as well as ABV Network merchandise. We are partnering with vendors like Art Eatables and Old Man Bay Signs to bring you unique items you can't find anywhere else. We will also have a 24-seat classroom where we are offering educational and fun classes like Breakfast and Bourbon, a series where we pair donuts and bourbon, customer barrel picks, and opportunities to learn from master distillers and other bourbon dignitaries. Best of all, we feature a tasting bar where you can try before you buy. All of this is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. If you are in the St. Louis area, please stop by to say hi. If you're traveling in from outside the area, please take advantage of our hotel rates with the Drury Inn and Pear Tree Inn, less than a mile from our shop. This can be done via the links in our Visit St. Louis section on our website. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to plan your trip. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. Hi, this is Steve Akley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about the Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent trips to Kentucky. Today, he is amongst the leaders of young distillers leaving their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery yields insight on their unique family history, why their products are special, and gives you the opportunity to taste their whiskey, moonshine, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com or visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
This is Kathy Cool, and I can't wait to pet your goat. And you're listening to the ABV Network.
All right, everybody, welcome back. My name is Steve Akley. I'm joined by Arthur Johnson, an old college classmate of mine, and we're talking some boxing and what's been going on. This is almost 40 years ago when you think about it. I was in Edwardsville for, I don't know what year we had the class together, and again, I don't remember even what class it was, but I was there from 86 to 90, so somewhere between those years, you and I had this class together. So it's a long time ago at this point, but and like I said, it just shows you how that can be. I've never forgotten about you. And which is kind of cool. And I watched your career progress and all that stuff. So very cool. So you start out, you're an amateur, after spending time in the gym, you decide this is for you. You stick with it. As you mentioned, this big group of kids is even more than you can count initially, whittles down to just kind of 4 that are sticking with it. And then ultimately you're kind of the lone man standing. But tell me a little bit about your amateur career, because I know that you certainly had a heck of a career, including winning gold at the Goodwill Games in Russia, which is very cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the amateur career, once I got going, I lost, of course, in those national tournaments that I competed in. And let me go back just a little bit, because we talked about the 4 of us standing, and that is true. And there was one other kid that stood for a long while alongside with me before I kind of shot off to the Rockets, and his name was Rudolph Bradley. So he ended up, competing and winning a championship or so. In the amateurs and the pros as well. So I just kind of wanted to mention that. But when I took off, I really I took off just wanting to do something that no one had ever done in boxing, period. And I was able to accomplish that by setting a national record, winning national titles. In fact, I believe it was 9 straight or 10 straight national titles. I mean, these days, I have to be able to recall. You say, how can you not forget that? Because how can one forget that? Well, there was a lot of accomplishment. There was a lot of great things that I was blessed to do. And I believe it was 9 or 10 of them that I was actually reeled off. And people say, you don't remember that? I mean, I honestly can't, say for sure. When I was younger, I could definitely recall as stern as I could, then being a young man, but now getting older, memories start to fade a little bit. But I know that the total of titles that I won nationally was 12. Wow. And it was either 9 or 10 that was consecutive. And that's what, I look at, because it was 3 years I went without losing to a single American boxer. So setting that record for the most titles as a flyweight was, we call that today is still called the U.S. Nationals. But back in my day, it was called the ABF or the AAU or something along those lines. And I reeled off, 3 consecutive back-to-back. And now, before that happened, that hadn't been done in 99 years. I remember that I remember that, Steve, because I read it.
Uh-huh.
I read it someplace, and that hadn't been done in 99 years. So I set that record, and to this day, 38, 39 years later, it is still standing. People have challenged it over the years. A lot of flyways have challenged it, and the best that they've been able to do is to actually tie it. That's it. So it's still standing. So that's a tremendous thing with the amateur career, winning those national titles, and then going over to Russia, winning the gold medal there, and then coming back to Seoul and competing, and coming up just short in the round of 16, which even to this day,
you were robbed. You didn't come up short, my friend. You were robbed. I watched that match. Yeah, I was furious. It's just boxing is great, but also stuff like that sucks because it's in the hands of the judges, and I hate it because I know you won that match in my heart. I can't imagine what that had to feel like for you. I mean,
it was tough to get over. We talk about that. I talk about that with old friends, with old teammates, and they tell me, "Hey, man, you were certainly robbed of that." But the one that got the most notary for that was Roy Jones. Roy Jones got more because the situation. My fight happened sometime maybe 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Then it was kind of replayed, that sort of thing. So wasn't didn't get as much attention as it probably deserved. But as I look back and I talk with the old Olympic coach and everyone who speaks about it today, they speak about it in the terms of it was no doubt one of the most questionable decisions. But we get over it. We have to get over it, and we move forward. We move on. And so from there, I went into to have a pro career. After one of the things I've done that most fighters don't do is that I retired for 4 years. I was retired for 4 years immediately after the Olympics, and I can't think of anybody who's ever done this.
No.
And so I say that because you said Ali retired and Ray Leonard retired, but they retired, but they were already in their pro careers. I had no pro career, so I retired immediately after the Olympics, and I stayed retired.
And why was that? Was it just the feelings of the loss? Was it a feeling that you got robbed? Is it you just wanted to try something else? What leads you to that, taking that gap?
I mean, I think I was. I had a lot of things to deal with. I believe I dealt with a lot of things in my young mind, needing a rest, needing to take a break, take a rest, and so I really, as my Christian faith is, I just really believe that at that time I needed to take that break and really just kind of figure out what it is that I really wanted to do, because the money aspect of it was there, and one would think that staying power is you have to be kind of special to have the same staying power that I would have had I turned pro immediately after the Olympics, but I didn't do that.
And you have a crazy career. I mean, that's step one of craziness. Then we'll get into your professional career. By the way, your Olympic team was amazing. I mean, you're talking about fielding Riddick Bowe, Michael Carbajal, Roy Jones Jr. I mean, that's like the boxing all-stars, right? I mean, that is amazing.
You had Kenny McKinney, who I beat 3 times, and I knocked him out the first time we fought. Then you have Michael Carbajal, who I beat a couple of times, and we talk about this stuff now,
right?
And whenever I talk to Michael Carbajal or Kenny, they say, and Kenny always have to remind me, "You beat me 3 times, right?" So I laugh at that, and then Michael Carbajal he always says the same thing. "Arthur, I made you cry when I fought you. I made you cry." So I said, "I don't know. I mean, it's kind of weird. You made me cry, but I beat you a couple of times." So it was a tremendous team, a team that went on to, I mean, it's very historical, that went on to really shape and mold the boxing world, if you will.
Yeah.
So those guys did a lot of great things, man.
So then you got the gap. Then you come back. You decide that boxing is for you. You're going to be a pro, and then you kind of you work your way up to the ranks, and you have a couple championships opportunities, and you don't win, including a big fight with Johnny Tapia, which is another great boxing name. But then there's this break, and then you start winning championships. So tell us a little bit about the boxing career, because you had an amazing professional career as well.
Well, yes. I mean, in my fourth, I think it's either my fourth or fifth, and I say fourth or fifth, and I probably should have looked at it. I have to go and check my own record, so I look it up. You know, again, when you get older, memories are not the same. But I believe it was my fifth fight. I fought a world champion, a non-title fight. His name was Richard Clark from Jamaica. I beat him, and in my fifth professional fight, after my eighth fight, I fought for the IBF flyweight title, a match that was brutally miscalculated by the judges. It was very
made you feel like you're back in Seoul, South Korea. Yeah.
Very much reminded me of the Seoul thing, and because out of the 12 rounds, he probably won one round.
Yeah,
and he was awarded, the decision. But I had a great manager, and Angelo Dundee was really a guidepost for me, and he presented me with a lot of great opportunities. Over half of my professional fights, just about half of them were championship fights. So I was always in the thick of things, in the big thick of things. And so that for me is what is most fun, and what I'm most that I'm most glad about, I'm most pleased about, that I had an opportunity, and that I went on to win world titles as well, the National Boxing Association on 3 different occasions, the North American title as well. And, the list just goes on and on. And, just kind of thinking back to the amateur days. One really don't know. That's why, right now, although I run a foundation, and I say one really don't know what a kid has in them. I don't know what kids have in them, but somewhere in there, the kids that I'm working with, I believe that kids will emerge, and they just need a little bit of encouragement, a little bit, hope to have in themselves. And because I've been down those roads, I believe I'm able to, teach that to them. And as a coach now with the Arthur Johnson Foundation. And so, I'm looking forward to, leaving that sort of thing here, leaving a past, a memory to a bunch of kids and to my community. That's the legacy that I hope to leave here, because hey, what is it? What does it mean if you just go out and you accomplish all these things, and you didn't give back to your community?
Right.
To me, I think that's most important. I think that's what I would like to be remembered for, giving back to my community, giving back to a kid, believing in a kid who don't believe in themselves, and maybe he can pass that hope on to another kid.
Yeah. Some neat stuff for sure. And impacting someone like that at a young age, you kind of can hopefully awaken them and set them up for their life, and be able to make some great contributions, whether it's in boxing or just they find their way. They just get the confidence that helps them, work a career, whatever it is. That's certainly a great gift that you're helping out these youngsters like that. So ultimately, you retire at the age of 37 back in 2003. And I know you're working now, obviously, but is that immediately what you started doing, or did you do something else after leaving boxing? Was there some sort of career you were thinking about, or anything like that?
I did, because I went to school for child development technician. As a child development and all that, majoring in that, broadcasting and all that stuff. And I didn't do as much broadcasting as I thought I would. So I went into, teaching what I went to school for, child development technician. and so I went into teaching autism. I worked as a paraprofessional for a couple years, and by I would say maybe 2000, if I can remember correctly, maybe about 2006, 7, 8, because I had already started the foundation prior to me retiring. So I was still doing that at 2001. So the foundation itself was over 21 years old, and so that's where I started there. And then I did some work with the autism, and the autism in the Belleville school district area, and worked with them for maybe a couple years or so. I want to say I did that for maybe a couple years, but at the same time, I was developing the Arthur Johnson Foundation. And then after 2008, because I did get ill in 2008, and I must thank God for bringing me through that ailment, which I was diagnosed with APL, acute promycectic leukemia. And once I came through that, I knew that I was going to really kind of devote my time coming from I would call it a deathbed threat, that I would devote my time once I got up to my foundation and giving back. And so I've been doing that now for, since, for sure, I would say since the 2012, 13, I started to develop a boxing team, and really started to, because I was doing my foundation and doing my events, but I just became more engulfed in it by, personally doing some hands-on stuff with some kids. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now,
Right.
doing things with kids. But I've trained a couple of trainers who I think does a great job with the kids, and I think it's going to be in great hands as we move forward. I can kind of sit back now and watch what God has blessed me to be able to develop with these kids, and these relationships and things of that nature. So it's that's the fun part now. We're on the outskirts of things, and maybe the the funnest part of all, because I'm promoting a professional boxing match, which is this Saturday. It's going to be held at the. It's going to be held. Let me try to think for 1 second here, because I'm getting to a point now.
Oh, I hear you. It's amazing. Yeah, amazing how these things can, when you need them most, that's when they jump out of your mind. And this happens to me all the time. I'm 55 at this point, and yeah, it's not uncommon. Anything you're talking about, I get it, my friend. I get it.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to the fight. Over at the Casa Loma. It's called Casa Loma. Sorry. There you go. Thank you.
Casa Loma. Okay. So we're talking Saturday, July 1st, Casa Loma Ballroom. You're going to have a boxing card that you're promoting there. So certainly get involved in that. We'll talk at the end how to get tickets and stuff like that, where they need to go if you've got that information. But you're building, in the process of building a permanent home for the Arthur Johnson Foundation now, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we've been at work for quite a few years, and we were awarded a grant to help build this facility. And so over the course of time, we've done a number of fundraisers and a number of things to help put us in the position to be able to enlarge ourselves. Right now, I'm at this center now, which is the Arthur Johnson, the Flash Boxing and Activity Center, and we've outgrown this place.
Okay.
We are really to the limit in terms of kids that we can help, because the place is small. It's about 2,200 square feet here. But the next building that we'll be in will be over 9,000 square feet. So that's going to help us to increase there, and then bring on some other things that we also want to do. Because I realize that, listen, every kid is not going to succeed at boxing, but what it's going to do is going to teach them a lot about life in general. And it's going to be able to, help them with that whole, again, discipline thing that we talk about, that we need to be in order to succeed, in order to uh, be able to go after goals and things of that nature. So that's going to be a big help for us, being able to have a larger place and having a lot more room, and again, introducing some other things to kids that outside of boxing, along with our mentoring that we do with a lot of the youngsters.
Arthur, it was an incredible joy to be able to reconnect with you, talk to you today, find out what you've been up to, find out some insight into that great career that you had. And I think people are interested in this journey. So, let's talk about some different things, ways that people can find you, that type of thing. Maybe they want to help out. Arthur Johnson Foundation, someone wants to get involved in that. Where do they need to go? Any website, social media, anything you'd like to share for that?
Yes, they can check us out on ArthurJohnsonFoundation.org. We're just rebuilt our site after a gazillion years. It needed to be a little bit worked on. So anyway, they can go there. We exist in East St. Louis at 1721 State Street. We are on Facebook. They can go to Arthur Johnson Foundation on Facebook, and we have an email address if you'd like to write us at Arthur Johnson Foundation 2001 at gmail.com. And I want to say something about the Arthur part, because most people spell it like AUTHOR, like the Arthur in the book. But if you spell it like that, you won't get the right address. So it's
right.
ARTHUR Johnson, JOHNSON Foundation 2001 at gmail.com. So there's a number of ways you can visit us. And I think on there also there's, if you'd like to give to this work, you can go to PayPal. You can look up the Arthur Johnson Foundation, and I believe there are spots where you can do that on Facebook, or you can do it on the website, the ArthurJohnsonFoundation.org.
Very cool. Anything, do you have where you can get tickets or anything like that to the event on July 1st, the boxing match at the Castellano Ballroom in St. Louis?
Sure. They can go to Eventbrite. You can go to Eventbrite to get your tickets from Eventbrite. I know there's been quite a few people that has been doing that. And as we move closer now to the date, Saturday, everything heightens, all of the publicity and things of that nature. There's a lot of that's going out, and so you can, again, Eventbrite, or if you want to come by here, the center, 1721. We do have tickets here at the center, 1721 State Street in East St. Louis, or you can do it at the door, and that's I don't know what that's going to be like at the door, but I know there's quite an excitement that's going on, because I have a couple of kids that are from this gym that will be competing that evening. So the tickets are going pretty fast, and I believe they only hold about 800. You're going to only get about 800 people in there. So we're planning to really have a good time, have a fun time, and be really encouraging and celebrate our kids. This is Renetta's. I have a female boxer, so this is her pro debut.
Oh, nice.
Yes, for Kevin, it's going to be his second bout, so he'll be the main event. Even though it's his second bout, he'll be in a 6-round bout. He'll be the last one to compete, and so we're looking forward to all those things, and just having a great time and really celebrating these kids. And the big hope is that they have a successful career and that they're able to reach back and give back, and because that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Well, if anybody wants anything else you need to share, by the way, was there any other social media websites, anything like that?
No, that's it. But apart from that, I am a musician. So if a lot of times when people look me up, they'll look up Arthur Flash Johnson, because the Flash I was given a nickname. One of the broadcasters through the years that was commentating the fight. But in any event, I do music, and one of the most exciting songs that I put out. I call it exciting because it's always exciting me. I love music. Music is so such on every level. Just about, I think everybody just about love music. And there's a song that I did called "Time Is Changing," and it went to number 13 on U.S. Top 20. And I just thought I would mention
Oh,
that.
heck yeah. Can you get that on like iTunes and stuff?
You can get it on iTunes. You can get it everywhere.
All right, I'm going to download that. I'm going to get that, my friend. That's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, Time Is Changing, and I've done quite a few musical projects before I used my name Arthur Flash Johnson. I was basically using Arthur Anthony, and I saw whether Arthur Anthony wasn't doing very much because people didn't know who Arthur Anthony was. They didn't know that was me. Because that's basically my name. So I kind of changed it back to Arthur Flash Johnson. So anyway, in any event, you can go out there and all the information is out online.
That's cool. What instrument do you play, or are you a singer? So what do you do?
I'm a singer, plus I do play the acoustic guitar.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. If you want to follow me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. We put all of our previous shows, blogs, so much more, abvnetwork.com. Come by and see us, the ABV Barrel Shop. We have a situation where you can try before you buy. So if there's something that you're interested in the shop, we'll let you taste it. If you like it, you can buy a bottle. So check us out online, abvbarrelshop.com. Also get involved by giving us a 5-star review. It helps new people find the show. That's pretty important to us. And if you like what we're doing, head over to patreon.com/the ABV Network for more information. Arthur, stick around for just a second. I'm going to say goodbye to the audience. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow with a brand new show. Bye. Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with the national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akley production.